If you've ever experienced that sharp shooting pain down your leg, this video is for you. So what is sciatica? Sciatica refers to pain that radiates along the pathway of the sciatic nerve, which runs from your lower back through your hips and down each leg. So it usually happens when this nerve becomes compressed or irritated for some reason. This can be due to things like a herniated disc, spinal stenosis, or even just muscle tightness around the area. It's important to know that there's no single test that can definitively say you have sciatica, but we can use a combination of signs during an exam to figure out things like if there's pain in one leg, specific nerve pain patterns, difficulty lifting your leg when you're lying down, muscle weakness, and changes in reflexes. These can all point towards sciatica, especially when caused by a herniated disc in your lower back. So not all leg pain is sciatica. Other issues can mimic its symptoms, like piriformis syndrome, which involves a tight muscle in your bum, irritating the nerve, or sacroiliac joint dysfunction, or it's where the pain comes from the joint connecting your spine to your pelvis. These conditions can cause similar pain, but they're different issues requiring a different set of treatments. That's why it's important to kind of know exactly what it is that is causing your pain. So I know that dealing with sciatica can be really scary and frustrating, and pain can feel overwhelming, and it's normal to wonder about how long it's going to last, whether it will get worse. But the good news is that sciatica is usually very treatable, and it gets better over time for most people. And they'll see diminishing symptoms within a matter of weeks without any major sort of surgery or treatments. So it's important to be patient with yourself and know that healing takes time as well. One key aspect of recovery is understanding how our body sends signals to the brain. There are two primary pathways for sensation. One is dedicated to light touch, discriminative touch, and vibration, while the other handles more intense sensations like temperature, sharp or dull pain. You can use tools like a massage gun or a tennis ball to stimulate these pathways, and this helps your brain to process the information about the movement and can ease pain. After focusing on sensory input, it's time to work on things like mobility. So take your hips through and low back through some gentle ranges of movement exercises. Exercises that strengthen your hips and improve flexibility can make a huge difference as well. There's no strong data on whether one type of exercise is better than another. So it's about finding the type that is workable and effective for your specific needs and ability. If these techniques help a little bit but don't fully relieve the pain, you might try adding things like heat therapy. Heat can relax tight muscles and increase blood flow, helping to soothe the area. So also pay attention to things like your daily habits, ergonomics, adjusting your seating at work, avoiding prolonged times of sitting, maintaining good posture. All of these things are key. Think about staying active. Low impact exercises, walking, swimming, all of these things can promote healing. Ultimately, the best approach is the one that takes your concerns into the forefront. Talk to whoever you're working with to find the best route towards healing for you. We're going to try a few practices in this video just to help managing symptoms that may present as sacroiliac pain. So if you think you might have a sacroiliac condition, by stimulating those different nerve pathways and helping to also increase mobility, pliability of the fascia and the muscle pathways that might be feeling a little bit restricted or painful at this time. So join in with me, see what feels good, leave out what doesn't, and find ways that help to support you best. So we're going to start with a little self-massage into soleus, which is a muscle that lies deep to gastrocnemius, which sits in your lower leg, your calf area. And this can be indicated in sacroiliac pain, which you now know can also mimic symptoms of sciatica. So we'll give this a go. So you can start with a tennis ball. If you have any kind of ball at home, I like a tennis ball. It's a little bit more pliable, so less painful, particularly if there's any tightness in this area. You can use a yoga block as well. If you don't have a yoga block, you can just use the ground for support. If you find it difficult to be on the ground, another great way to do this is just with a massage gun. So with the block or without the block, placing the ball just onto that calf area, and we're just going to roll along the calf muscle, looking for any trigger points in this area, particularly the upper kind of section, but also kind of more towards the heel as well. Once you've located a particular trigger point, you can stay and hold for anywhere up to 2 minutes. If we're trying to get into the fascia, it's most responsive after that kind of 90-second time mark. So just staying and holding with that along there. Breathe deep into your belly, so this cues your nervous system to come into a state of calm, which is also conducive towards relaxation, blood flow. Okay, and then you can try that on the other side as well. Obviously start with the affected area and give it a go. You can bring some sensory input to the area by using a tennis ball to gently massage around those areas that we know may be causing us a little bit of tension. Side of the hip, glutes, all along glute med, glute min, glute max. Even into your lower back, just bringing that sensory sort of feedback. Yeah, you can use a wall as well. You can lean the ball into the wall. But if you don't have a ball, you can also just use some gentle sort of rubbing around the area, lower back, glutes. Yeah, down the legs. All the way down to your feet. You can do one side or both. You can do some tapping. Stimulating the area. You can do some knocking, little fists. And then just noticing how you feel even after just bringing that little bit of stimulation into the area. So the next practice we might try is a mobilization around the hip joint. You can do this in different ways. So we can do it in a hands and knees position. You can do it just standing. So whatever feels most supportive, whatever is most accessible for you. So you might find a nice soft bend through your knees. We're going to drop the pelvis down, back, up and around. And you can start with really kind of micro movements. Sometimes it's helpful to place one hand on the lower back and one hand on the front. We're just essentially making circles into the pelvis. You work with your own range, so you can make these larger or smaller, working within a pain-free range. And then just reverse the direction. So we go forward, up, and around. So we're just mobilizing into the pelvis. Nice. You can do that for anywhere up to 2 minutes or more even, whatever feels nice. And then we'll move in a side to side motion. So lifting one hip and then the other hip, almost like you're kind of tracing a little smile with your hip points, down, up and around. one side to the other. And again, these could just be really small movements, or you can make them a little bigger. Just really listening into your body, noticing where there's restriction, noticing where there's freedom, noticing if there's any pain. And then we'll kind of combine all of those. So we go down, back, to the side, under, up, down, over, to the side, under, up. And again, you can stay with either one movement or the other, or playing around with this. You may find this easier in a hands and knees position, and then changing direction. And just mobilizing through the hip joints. Nice. Take a little pause, notice how that feels. Let your breath drop deep into your belly.